10 biblical meals that stunned modern doctors. Last one will shock you. Picture a kitchen with no refrigerator, no lab, no nutrition label. Just fire, grain, and a list of ingredients chosen with a precision we're only now starting to understand. The people who ate from that kitchen outlived famines, outlasted empires, and stayed strong well into old age. Here's the strange part. The recipe book behind it all has been sitting in plain sight for thousands of years. It's called the Bible. And this isn't a metaphor. We're talking about exact meals, specific food combinations, exact instructions on how to prepare them. Today, we're walking through 10 of those meals. Stick around for number 4. It pairs 2 ingredients that researchers are now studying for a very specific immune-boosting effect. And don't leave before number 1, the final meal on this list. It comes straight from a passage in Deuteronomy where God names 7 foods directly. When nutritional scientists studied those 7 together, what they found was almost too precise to call a coincidence. 10 meals. 3,000 years of evidence behind every one. Let's start with number 10. Meal 10. Cucumber mint yogurt bowl. Dust swirls around bare feet. The sun hammers down on a sprawling camp of tents stretching toward the horizon. And somewhere in that crowd, voices rise not in prayer, but in complaint. They're not asking for manna. They're grieving cucumbers. That's the scene laid out in Numbers chapter 11. The Israelites, wandering the wilderness, name exactly what they miss from Egypt: cucumbers, leeks, and garlic. Not delicacies. Not comfort food. Daily staples, the kind of food a body actually depends on to survive a desert. Here's why that complaint makes scientific sense. Thousands of years later, cucumbers are over 96% water. In a climate where heat exhaustion was one bad afternoon away and water sources couldn't be trusted, a cucumber wasn't a snack. It was a hydration strategy with a stem. These were foods doing real work, fighting inflammation, reinforcing skin and connective tissue with silica, supporting bone and blood health with vitamin K. Now slice that cucumber into fermented goat's milk yogurt, and the meal changes entirely. Goat's milk carries a different protein structure than the cow's milk. Most of us drink today a gentler casein that research links to far less inflammation in the gut and noticeably easier digestion. Ferment it, and it becomes a living food. Beneficial bacteria that colonize the gut, train the immune system, and produce short-chain fatty acids that calm intestinal inflammation from the inside. Then comes the mint 1 sprig of one of the most widely used healing herbs in the ancient world, and the whole bowl shifts again. Mint activates receptors in the mouth and stomach that trigger a genuine relaxation response in the digestive system. Fewer spasms, less bloating, a gut that physically calms down. Modern digestive science has confirmed exactly what people in that desert camp already seem to know. This bowl didn't just feed people, it hydrated the gut and cooled the nervous system in a place where both were under daily assault. Nobody in that camp ran a lab test. They just noticed how it made them feel and kept eating it. Meal 9. Garlic and herb lentil soup. Picture the same world, a different problem. No refrigeration, no antibiotics. A single infection could end a life. So what do you cook when staying alive depends on staying well? You start with lentils. Complete plant protein, slow-burning energy, and a mineral and fiber profile that feeds the exact gut bacteria responsible for a huge share of your immune system. On their own, lentils are already a smart meal. But the ancient world didn't stop there. They added garlic. Generously. Not as a flavor note, but as medicine disguised as dinner. Here's what happens the moment garlic is crushed or chopped. A compound called allicin forms almost instantly, and it goes to work against bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites all at once. Research today confirms what Egyptian medical texts recorded over 20 separate times. Garlic eaten regularly means fewer illnesses, milder ones, when they do hit, lower blood pressure, less harmful cholesterol, and real documented protection for the liver. That's not folk superstition. That's a pattern, observed and recorded across generations, long before anyone knew the word allicin. The ancient cooks weren't finished. Cumin went in next, lowering blood sugar response and waking up digestive enzymes. Coriander followed, with calming effects on the gut lining that modern research has since confirmed. And a finish of olive oil made sure every fat-soluble nutrient in the bowl could actually be absorbed. Eat this, and you're not just having soup. You're running a full immune maintenance protocol without ever thinking about it that way. This exact combination has existed for 5,000 years in one form or another. It doesn't need a rebrand. It needs a pot on your stove on a regular basis. Meal: 8 pomegranate and barley grain bowl. Walk into King Solomon's temple and you'd find it carved with 200 pomegranates lined along the pillars. Look at the high priest's robe, and pomegranates again stitched in blue, purple, and scarlet. This was the single fruit considered worthy enough to decorate the most sacred space in the ancient world. Modern science has spent decades trying to figure out why. The answer turns out to be a compound found almost nowhere else in nature. Once it's broken down in the digestive tract, it produces substances that research has linked to powerful anti-inflammatory and potential anti-cancer effects. Studies on pomegranate juice alone show reduced blood pressure, protected arteries, improved arterial health, and lower markers of inflammation throughout the body. Compound for compound, pomegranates outrank red wine, green tea, and blueberries. Now build that fruit into a grain bowl with whole barley underneath it. Barley brings beta-glucan, which lowers cholesterol on its own. Pair it with the cardiovascular protection of pomegranate. Scatter in fresh herbs, dress it with real olive oil, and you've built a single meal working on heart health, gut health, and cellular inflammation. At the same time, add walnuts or crumbled feta, and you've layered in omega-3s protein and calcium without it ever stopping tasting like lunch. Here's the part worth sitting with. The people who carved pomegranates into a temple wall didn't know the name of a single compound inside that fruit. No lab, no clinical trial, no peer-reviewed journal. They just watched, generation after generation, what happened to the people who ate them regularly versus the people who didn't. And they built that observation straight into stone. Sometimes the oldest data is still the most reliable. And if that's making you rethink what good nutrition even means, hit like and subscribe, because meal next on this list is going to take that even further. Meal 7. Dates stuffed with nuts. A line of camels moves across cracked, sun-baked ground. No shade for miles, no water in sight. The traders riding them don't reach for anything elaborate to keep going. They reach into a small pouch and pull out dried fruit. That single piece of food is doing more work than almost anything else they're carrying. No fruit tree is named more often across biblical literature than the date palm, and that wasn't poetic flourish. It was logistics. Desert traders, soldiers, and pilgrims crossing the Judean wilderness carried dates for one simple reason: dates kept them moving when nothing else would. Inside each one is natural glucose and fructose that hits the bloodstream fast, delivering rapid, reliable energy. But unlike refined sugar, that energy doesn't arrive alone. It comes packaged with fiber, magnesium, potassium, copper, manganese, and B vitamins. The effects go further than a quick boost. Multiple clinical trials have found that women who ate dates regularly in the final weeks of pregnancy experienced significantly faster, easier deliveries, with added benefits for iron levels and bone density. Eaten alone, though, that sugar hits and fades fast. So somewhere along the way, someone solved that problem. Stuff the date. Almonds, walnuts, pistachios, all familiar staples across the ancient world, slow everything down. The healthy fats and protein from the nuts slow the absorption of the date's natural sugars, smoothing the energy release and preventing the blood sugar spike you'd get from dates on their own. Rapid fuel becomes sustained fuel. Each nut adds its own layer. Pistachios support eye health and feed beneficial gut bacteria more than almost any other nut. Walnuts bring omega-3 fatty acids. Almonds contribute vitamin E and magnesium. It's no accident that Ramadan fasting has traditionally been broken with dates for over 1,000 years. The body absorbs them gently, efficiently, completely. Stuffed with nuts, this stops being a snack. It becomes a portable nutritional system, assembled by hand, long before anyone ran a single trial to prove it worked. Meal 6. Grape and goat, cheese plate with herbs. The floodwaters have just receded. Noah steps onto dry ground for the first time in months, and before almost anything else, he plants a vineyard. Of all the things Scripture could have chosen as that first act, it chose the vine. That choice echoes throughout the rest of Scripture. Grapes appear at the Passover table, throughout the Song of Solomon, and at some of the most significant moments in both the Old and New Testaments. That kind of repetition isn't incidental. Something about this plant kept drawing attention, generation after generation. Fresh grapes are packed with natural compounds that help the body repair itself and stay healthy longer, most of it concentrated in the skin and seeds, which is exactly why eating them whole matters. Add fiber, potassium, and key vitamins, and you already have a meaningful food in a simple handful. Now, pair those grapes with fresh goat cheese, a concentrated, aged form of probiotic-rich goat's milk, along with fresh herbs and a handful of olives. The natural compounds in the grapes and the beneficial bacteria in the fermented cheese form a combination. Researchers are now actively studying for its effects on gut health and the immune system as a whole. Together, the two appear to do something. Neither accomplishes as effectively alone. The herbs add their own defense against harmful bacteria, and the olives bring natural anti-inflammatory benefits of their own. What looks like a casual snack plate is actually a precisely layered system. The people who first put grapes and goat cheese on the same plate didn't need to explain any of the mechanism behind it. They just kept reaching for it, plate after plate, for thousands of years. Meal 5. Roasted lamb with dates and herbs. Smoke rises from a fire pit at the center of camp. This isn't an ordinary weeknight meal, and everyone nearby knows it. The animal turning slowly over those flames carries more symbolic weight than almost anything else in Scripture. The Passover lamb, the ram provided for Abraham, the Lamb of God. That weight wasn't only symbolic. For people living hard physical lives, this meal was nutritionally irreplaceable. Slow-roasted lamb is loaded with B vitamins, including B12 to keep the nervous system running, B6 to help the body break down food, and riboflavin for day-to-day cellular energy. It's rich in zinc the body can actually use, far more so than zinc from plant sources, supporting immune strength and faster healing. And the iron in lamb is absorbed up to 3 times more easily than iron from plant-based foods. Very few single ingredients do this much for the body at once. For anyone recovering from illness, worn down by overwork, or simply running on empty after months of hard labor, this meal refilled what life had taken out of them. Nobody in that camp needed a doctor's diagnosis to recognize when someone was running low, and nobody needed a prescription to fix it. They had lamb. The dates served alongside weren't decoration. They contributed natural sugars for rapid energy, fiber for digestive regulation, and fruit acids that actually enhance the absorption of the lamb's iron. Clinical trials have confirmed that the two foods together are more nutritious than either eaten alone. Roasted over rosemary, thyme, and hyssop, the meat absorbed volatile antimicrobial compounds from the herbs, which also made the rich animal fat easier to digest. None of this was accidental seasoning. It was accumulated wisdom, passed down not through any written text, but through the hands of every generation that cooked this meal before the next one learned how. Meal 4: Figs and Almonds. The king is dying. Not from a wound on a battlefield, not from old age, from an infection, a boil. What was likely a deep ulcer or abscess, eating away at his body faster than anyone could stop it. King Hezekiah's strength is fading by the hour, and the prophet sent to him is Isaiah. Here's the detail most people read straight past. Isaiah doesn't only pray over him. He orders a paste of figs pressed directly onto the wound, and the king recovers. Modern science eventually caught up to what that paste was actually doing. Figs contain physin, an enzyme that breaks down damaged tissue and promotes wound healing, along with compounds carrying documented antimicrobial properties. Laboratory studies have shown that fresh fig latex actively inhibits bacterial growth. What looked like an act of faith turns out to also be biochemically defensible. That's figs applied to a wound. Eaten as food, they do something different but equally significant. Figs rank among the most mineral-dense fruits available, rich in pectin fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria, loaded with magnesium, potassium, calcium, and B vitamins in concentrations that made them a functional multivitamin in a world that had no concept of supplements. Now grind almonds into flour, the way it was done throughout the ancient world, and pair them with those same figs. The combination ends up more powerful than either ingredient alone. Almonds deliver vitamin E in its most usable form, a fat-soluble antioxidant that protects cells from everyday damage, alongside magnesium, healthy fats, protein, and fiber that feeds the gut's good bacteria. Eating almonds regularly has been shown to lower harmful cholesterol, reduce blood sugar spikes after meals, and improve both the health and diversity of the gut microbiome. And this is where the almond story gets harder to dismiss as coincidence. Its blossom was carved into the menorah. Aaron's rod, the sign of divine authority itself, budded with almonds. The ancient world built sacred imagery around this exact nut without any language for vitamins or antioxidants. They understood, somehow, that it represented something life-giving. Figs and almonds, 2 ingredients, one of the most nutritionally complete pairings ever assembled by hand. Meal 3: Chickpea and olive salad. No prophet calls them out by name. No vision centers on them. No king is healed by them. If you're looking for a dramatic biblical moment to anchor this meal, there isn't one, and that absence turns out to be the most telling detail on this entire list. Chickpeas were simply always there. Ground into flour, boiled into stews, eaten whole across the ancient Near East for at least 10,000 years. No miracle attached, no single moment of significance, just a food that showed up at the table, meal after meal, century after century, without anyone ever needing to explain why. Foods don't survive 100 centuries of continuous use unless something about them genuinely works. Chickpeas carry a glycemic index so low they produce almost no blood sugar response despite their carbohydrate content. Their resistant starch feeds specific gut bacteria in ways that reduce systemic inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and lower LDL cholesterol, while the protein and fiber together create a sense of fullness that lasts for hours. Dress that bowl of chickpeas in cold-pressed olive oil, and the dish becomes something else entirely: natural compounds that fight inflammation, protect arteries, and keep the cardiovascular system running smoothly. Add fresh herbs, hyssop, mint, or coriander, and you've layered in antibacterial and digestive benefits on top of everything already there. Here's what most people miss about how ancient populations stayed healthy. It was never built on a single superfood. It was built on consistency. Chickpeas at the table every day for decades. Olive oil on everything, every meal. Herbs added without a second thought, simply because that's how food was made. Modern research backs this up directly. Eating legumes regularly is the single dietary habit most consistently linked to healthy aging across cultures worldwide. Not a supplement, not a program, just beans, eaten faithfully, day after day. That's the moment everything shifts about how we should read ancient diets. They didn't need a clinical study. They had 10,000 years of results written into how long people lived and how well they worked. The simplest food on this entire list, eaten with the most consistency, turned out to be one of the most powerful. Meal 2: barley bread with olive oil. A hillside stretches out in every direction, thousands of people sitting in the grass, far from any market, any kitchen, any obvious solution. The math shouldn't work. 5 loaves, 2 fish, 5,000 mouths. But in the Gospel of John, those loaves get broken and pass through the crowd until everyone has eaten. Here's the detail most people skip straight past. Those loaves weren't wheat. They were barley, the grain of farmers, soldiers, and laborers. The bread eaten by ordinary people across the ancient world, day after day, for centuries. Most people think of bread as filler. The ancient world treated it as something closer to foundation. And it turns out that daily repetition was the secret. Barley carries the highest concentration of beta-glucan fiber, found in any grain on Earth, a compound so well documented for lowering cholesterol and stabilizing blood sugar that food manufacturers are legally permitted to print heart health claims directly on products containing it. Inside the digestive tract, it forms a slow-moving gel that feeds beneficial gut bacteria, slows glucose absorption, and pulls LDL cholesterol out of circulation more effectively than almost anything else on a plate. But the grain alone isn't the full story. It's how that bread was made. Stone-ground whole-grain barley bread, worked through with generous olive oil in the dough and poured again over the surface, delivers something barley alone cannot. Extra virgin olive oil contains a compound most people have never heard of, and this is the detail that stops people cold. It behaves almost identically to ibuprofen inside the body. Same anti-inflammatory pathway, same reduction in inflammation signals, no side effects, no stomach irritation. Just a steady, daily lowering of the chronic inflammation behind nearly every major disease. This was the everyday bread of prophets and fishermen, dense, dark, drenched in oil. Nothing fancy about it. Just functional, eaten every single day for a lifetime, quietly running as one of the most effective cardiovascular and metabolic interventions ever practiced, long before anyone needed a name for it. Meal 1. The 7 Sacred Foods Feast Bowl. Moses is standing before God, listening for a description of the land his people are about to enter. He's likely expecting something sweeping, fertile, abundant, blessed. What he gets instead is startlingly specific. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 8. No vague promise of plenty. 7 exact foods, named one by one: wheat, barley, grapes, figs, pomegranates, olives, and dates. For thousands of years, scholars have read this verse as proof of agricultural fertility, evidence the land could sustain life. That reading isn't wrong. But modern nutritional science, looking at the same 7 words, has noticed something the original readers had no way to measure. These 7 foods, eaten together, form one of the most complete nutritional systems ever assembled into a single meal. And the way they interlock is difficult to explain as coincidence. Wheat and barley supply, complementary proteins, beta-glucan fiber, B vitamins, and slow-burning energy that sustains mental and physical performance for hours without a blood sugar crash. Grapes bring a set of natural compounds that switch on the body's own repair processes and protect the cardiovascular system on multiple fronts at once. Figs step in exactly where the grains and fruits fall short, supplying magnesium, potassium, and calcium, filling the gaps as if the list had been built with those gaps already in mind. Pomegranates contribute an antioxidant concentration that outranks nearly every other fruit on earth. Along with compounds the gut converts into potent anti-inflammatory agents. Then come the olives eaten whole, not just pressed for oil, delivering oleocanthal, antioxidant compounds, vitamin E, and monounsaturated fats that make every other fat-soluble nutrient in the bowl dramatically more absorbable. The olives don't just bring their own nutrition to the table, they unlock everyone else's. And finally, dates close the circle. Rapid natural energy, fiber to prevent blood sugar spikes, antimicrobial tannins, and potassium for blood pressure regulation. Here's the part that's hard to walk away from. When researchers study these 7 foods as a system, instead of as 7 separate items, they find that each one compensates for exactly what the others lack. Protein gaps in the grains get covered by amino acids from the fruit. Fat-soluble vitamins from the olives travel alongside water-soluble vitamins from the fresh produce. Anti-inflammatory compounds from multiple, unrelated sources appear to work in sync, producing effects greater than any single ingredient could generate alone. Build this bowl yourself. Whole grain barley and ancient wheat as the base, fresh grapes, sliced figs, and pomegranate seeds scattered through, a handful of whole olives, medjool dates on the side, all finished with a generous pour of cold-pressed, extra virgin olive oil. Eat it, and you're tasting something the ancient world understood completely without a single clinical trial to back it up. This was never just a description of fertile land. It was a prescription for a life well lived, and 3,000 years later, cancer researchers, heart specialists, immune system experts, and gut health doctors keep arriving at the exact place the Israelites were already standing. Picture that same kitchen from the start of this video. No refrigerator, no lab, no nutrition label, Just fire, grain, and a list of ingredients chosen with a precision we're only now beginning to understand. 10 meals later, walk back through what you just saw. Garlic crushed into soup because someone noticed it kept people from getting sick. Pomegranates carved into temple pillars because someone noticed what happened to the people who ate them. 7 foods named directly by God in a single verse. Foods researchers are still mapping for exactly how they interlock. None of it was guesswork. The people who cooked this way for thousands of years weren't primitive, and that word has done real damage to how we think about the past. They were paying extraordinarily close attention to their bodies, to their land, to what truly worked across generations, refined slowly enough that mistakes got filtered out, and only the things that actually kept people alive survived. That's not luck. That's data, just collected over centuries instead of a clinical trial. But here's the catch, if you actually want to feel any of this for yourself. The ingredients matter as much as the recipe. The olive oil that works almost like a natural anti-inflammatory in your body isn't the cheap bottle on the bottom shelf. Quality olive oil, raw, unfiltered honey, ancient grain varieties that haven't been bred down to nothing but starch. None of that is what's sitting in the average aisle of your local supermarket. A diluted, over-processed version of these foods won't do what the real thing did 3,000 years ago. And that gap between medicinal food and grocery store imitation matters more than almost anyone realizes. So here's where this stops being a video and starts being something you actually do. Pick one meal from this list. Just one. Make it this week. Then drop it in the comments and tell me which one you picked. I'd love to know. Maybe it's the lentil soup because winter's coming. Maybe it's the dates stuffed with nuts because you need something for the drive to work. Whatever it is, that single meal puts you in the same chain as everyone who cooked it before you, going back further than most of recorded history. If this video gave you something worth keeping, that's exactly what the like button is for, and subscribing means you won't miss what we're cooking up next. Because here's the thing, this list of 10 was never the whole story. There's more buried in those same pages, more meals, more patterns, more details, that even long-time readers of this text have walked straight past without ever noticing. The next video is already queued up, and I think it's going to surprise you even more than this one did. 3,000 years of evidence, sitting in a book most people have on a shelf somewhere. Maybe it's time to actually open it in the kitchen